Downloadable content is additional content created for a released video game. It is distributed through the internet by the game's official publisher. Downloadable content can be of several types, ranging from aesthetic outfit changes to a new, extensive storyline, similar to an expansion pack. As such, DLC may add new game modes, objects, levels, challenges or other features to a complete and already released game. DLC and a content creating and sharing user base are essential long-term needs in more complex simulator products such as V-scale model railroading applications where in the long term, since 3D asset generation is typically a technically demanding and time-consuming activity, a steam locomotive can take 2 to 4 full months of time to implement, and a long large route can consume years of development. Such emulations only grow through the power of numbers of the many producing and sharing assets in the hobby community. In the case of episodic video games, a new episode may come in the form of downloadable content, whereas music video games utilize this media to offer new songs for the players. Downloadable content became prevalent in the 21st century, and especially with the proliferation of Internet-enabled, sixth-generation video game consoles. Special edition or Game of the Year re-releases of games often incorporate previously released DLC along with the main title in a physical package. History. Precursors to DLC. The earliest form of downloadable content were offerings of full games, such as on the Atari 2600's GameLine service, which allowed users to download games using a telephone line. A similar service, Sega Channel, allowed for the downloading of games to the Sega Genesis over a cable line, while the GameLine and Sega Channel services allowed for the distribution of entire titles. They did not provide downloadable content for existing titles. On personal computers, as the popularity and speed of Internet connections rose, so did the popularity of using the Internet for digital distribution of media. User-created game mods and maps were distributed exclusively online, as they were mainly created by people without the infrastructure capable of distributing the content through physical media. In 1997, Cave Dog offered for their real-time strategy computer game Total Annihilation free downloadable additional created content, a new unit every month. On consoles, the Dreamcast was the first console to feature online support as a standard. DLC was available, though limited in size due to the narrowband connection and the size limitations of a memory card. These online features were still considered a breakthrough in video games, but the competing PlayStation 2 did not ship with a built-in network adapter. With the advent of the Xbox, Microsoft was the second company to implement downloadable content. Many original Xbox Live titles, including Splinter Cell, Halo 2, and Ninja Gaiden, offered varying amounts of extra content, available for download through the Xbox Live service. Most of this content, with the notable exception of content for Microsoft-published titles, was available for free. With the Xbox 360, Microsoft integrated downloadable content more fully into their console, devoting an entire section of the console's user interface to the Xbox Live Marketplace. They also partially removed the need for credit cards by implementing their own Microsoft Points currency, which could be bought either with a credit card online or as redeemable codes in game stores. This is a strategy that would be adopted by Nintendo with Nintendo Points and Sony with the PlayStation Network card. One of the most infamous examples of DLC on consoles was the Horse Armor DLC pack released on the Xbox Live Marketplace for the Bethesda Softworks game, The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. Sony adopted the same approach with their downloadable hub, the PlayStation Store. With Gran Turismo HD, Sony planned an entirely bare-bones title, with the idea of requiring the bulk of the content to be purchased separately via many separate online microtransactions. The project was later cancelled. Nintendo has featured a sparser amount of downloadable content on their Wii Shop channel, the bulk of which is accounted for by digital distribution of emulated Nintendo titles from previous generations. Music video games such as titles from the Guitar Hero and Rock Band franchises have taken significant advantage of downloadable content. Harmonix claimed that Guitar Hero 2 would feature more online content than anyone has ever seen in a game to this date. Rock Band features the largest number of downloadable items of any console video game, with a steady number of new songs that were added weekly between 2007 and 2013. Acquiring all the downloadable content for Rock Band would, as of July 12, 2012, cost $9,150.10. On handhelds, Nokia phones of the late 1990s and early 2000s shipped with side-scrolling shooter Space Impact, available on various models. With the introduction of WAP in 2000, additional downloadable content for the game, with extra levels, became available. Through use of the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, users can download DLC to the Nintendo DS handheld for certain games. A good example is Picross DS, in which users can download puzzle packs of classic puzzles from previous Picross games as well as downloadable user-generated content. Professor Layton and the Curious Village was thought to have bonus puzzles that can be downloaded using the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. However, connecting to Nintendo Wi-Fi connection simply unlocked the puzzles which were already stored in the game. Similarly, Moro, Neketsu Rhythm Damashi Osu, Tataki, Wenden 2 had hidden costumes that were unlocked using DS download stations for a limited time. Due to the Nintendo DS's use of cartridges and lack of a hard drive, there is limited space for DLC and developers would have to plan for storage space on the cartridge. Picross DS itself only has room for 10 puzzle packs, and Professor Layton's and Wenden 2's DLC is already on the cartridge and is simply unlocked with a weekly code. The Nintendo DS's downloadable content is distinct as it is currently being offered at no cost. However, the Nintendo DSi contains a shop similar to that of the Wii that contains games and applications, most of which must be bought using Nintendo points. It is also worth noting that, using the Wii's Nintendo channel, various DS files, such as game demos and videos, can be downloaded onto the Wii console and transferred via wireless to a DSi handheld. The Nintendo 3DS supports downloadable content as of update, the first title to support it being Theatrhythm Final Fantasy in the form of extra songs. Other games to support DLC quickly followed, such as Fire Emblem, Awakening, and Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. Starting with Apple's iPhone OS version 3.0 release, and Apple's iPhone 4, downloadable content became available for the platform via applications bought from the App Store. While this ability was initially only available to developers for paid applications, Apple eventually allowed for developers to offer this in free applications as well in October 2009. Pricing for downloadable content generally varies from $3 to $20, though significantly more expensive DLC has existed, as high as $50,000. In addition to individual content downloads, video game publishers sometimes offer a season pass, which allows users to purchase packs of downloadable content for a video game at a lower price than it would cost to buy each one separately. Season passes may be available before the relevant DLC is available. In essence, the user is pre-ordering the content, ensuring their ability to immediately obtain it upon release. Downloadable content can also be included in a game purchase, such as with pre-order bonuses or bundled into re-releases of the full games such as Game of the Year and Ultimate editions. Since Facebook games popularized the business model of microtransactions, Some have criticized downloadable content as being overpriced and an incentive for developers to leave items out of the initial release. Certain items are provided for free. Providing free DLC can also provide revenue for game companies at the expense of users' convenience. For example, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm for the PlayStation 3 was shipped with certain features disabled. However, users can freely download packs to re-enable the missing content from the PlayStation Store. Consequently, users are exposed to advertisements and potential purchases. There is also the additional marketing benefit that users may believe that there is continuing support for the product if there is an apparent flow of such patches, where a normal software disk may allow its license sold or traded. DLC is generally locked to a specific user's account and does not come with the ability to transfer that license to another user. For instance, non-transferable DLCs were used in EA's Project $10 as a mechanism to fight the used games market. Microsoft has been known to require developers to charge for their content, when the developers would rather release their content for free. Some content has even been withheld from release because the developer refused to charge the amount Microsoft required. Epic Games, known for continual support of their older titles with downloadable updates, believed that releasing downloadable content over the course of a game's lifetime helped increase sales throughout, and had succeeded well with that business model in the past, but was required to implement fees for downloads when releasing content for their Microsoft-published game, Gears of War. In 2015, CD Projekt Red, developer of The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, was widely praised by gamer community for plan to release 16 free DLC for the game, a feature which is currently uncommon for many of games' availability. Some content is delivered exclusively through online services, but the extra content may be on the game disc. Some criticism stems from the fact that many of the items sold on sites like Xbox Live Marketplace are not downloadable content at all, but are instead content keys used to unlock content already on the game disc. Because of this, many people feel as if they are paying to unlock content they already purchased when they bought the game itself. For instance, criticism arose over the downloadable characters for Street Fighter X Tekken, which were found to already be on the game discs. Publishers may also choose to re-release certain titles with previously available downloadable content bundled. There is also criticism concerning the exclusivity of downloadable contents, as some of these contents are frequently added to new disc version of the game. Buyers of the Resident Evil 5 Gold Edition would have access to contents previously exclusives as downloadable content without having to pay any extra fee. The Star Wars The Force Unleashed re-release, Ultimate Sith Edition, featured an additional level that was later released as DLC, despite LucasArts stating it was exclusive to the re-released version. In other media, while games are the birthplace of downloadable content, with movies, books and music also becoming more popular in the digital sphere, experimental DLC has also been attempted. Amazon's Kindle service, for example, allows updating ebooks, which allows authors to not only update and correct work, but also add content. For example, Val Panisar's book One Despair, of the Servant of the Fates series, added short stories as downloadable content nearly a year after release. In this current form it is not monetized and is similar in form to updates for PC games.